Well, after 1 week away, the 2019 Sony Cup Series Championship is about to get back and underway, and we're here at the Canadian Tour, the first time we're ever racing at Montreal. This will be a first for everyone, but first, let's look at the championship as things have gotten really tight. Dylan Young has closed the gap down to 4 points with his teammates of Jordan Davis and Dejon Weeks right on the heels of the 43 Dodge of Ryan Griffin, and his teammate of Ryan Acosta is also in the picture of this. Only 5 drivers. Those 5 drivers are within a race of the championship lead. And as we close down the first third of the 2019 season, drivers are going to need to dig deep and dig hard. Vengai, Lewis, Lamas, Mace, Turner, some other drivers need to find something in the Canadian Tour for these next 3 races, because I feel if you leave Canadian Tire after round 12, even though it's very early, if you leave the Canadian Tour very far behind in the championship, you could very well end your hopes of a championship season in the 2019 year. And it's so very important to be on your game in these next 3 races. But looking at this race here, Will Lewis is your pole sitter for today's race. He has never won a Sony Cup Series race. Starting behind him in 3rd place on the grid, Dylan Schwellenberg also never won a Sony Cup Series race. And those are the 2 drivers starting in the top 5. Never a winner in the Sony Cup Series. They have a good shot today to get their first Sony Cup Series victory, but drivers that are looking to take it away. Jordan Davis, who won last race at Talladega, he's on the outside of the front row. Jeffrey Fengai, it's been a while for him since he's been to victory lane, but he's looking to get back in the victory circle. Charles Sanford's back there in 5th, but let's give a call to some of the drivers that are starting a little ways up the order than some, like Chris Louvier, Nick Pericles, Josh Crash, Joseph Shrigley. They qualified very well for today's race, and it's going to be interesting to see how they do. Let's get ourselves down for round 10 to get underway. Before we get things underway, Martin Rodriguez Motorsports has downsized from a 4-car team to a 2-car team. That's the first time it's ever happened. And they have let go Dom Capps. He'll be driving for Joseph Shrigley Racing in the 63 ride. And replacing Capps in the 6-car, Eric DeMax, young Eric DeMax. He'll be starting in the top half of the field, but also looking a little deeper down. Turner Performance has struggled this race weekend. They're far down the order. Jesse Turner's there, and looking around, Jake Bassinger's there too. Hero Motorsports has also struggled to find speed for this race weekend. They have a ways to go. But Jordan Davis, can he challenge Lewis into the first few corners? Can Lewis get an opening jump? Can this be his day to get his first Sony Cup Series win? He needs to get off the line. Good. He needs to get a good jump on this start of the race. And the first ever race at Montreal. It's green, and we're racing for round 10. Davis and Lewis side by side. Davis trying to hang it around the outside. Contact in the back. Cars are off in the grass. Davis has the inside to Will Lewis here. And Lewis trying to get the run off the corner. They're still wrecking further back. But Will Lewis gets the run on Davis. Davis trying to cover up his teammate of Dylan Schwellenberg. He does so. Here comes Fengai around the outside of Dylan Schwellenberg. He'll get that position. Schwellenberg is really loose there. He falls down to 4th place. And now Dejon Weeks trying to get around the outside of Charles Sanford. There's a crash further behind. Sean Harple and Charlie Smith have gotten together. And that has been a bunch of crashes in the opening lap. Here it is. Not even entering the first corner. Cody Lamas hooks Pericles into Josh Crash, and championship contender Dylan Young was there too. And Nick Pericles, his day is over before he knows it. And there it is again. Lamas hooks him, and Smith goes off the course a little bit trying to go around. Shrigley also did the same thing, but Lamas also got into Ryan Acosta there and spun him around. Here it is again, looking. Lamas just gets into Pericles, and Lamas is kind of out of control a little bit. Hooks the 45, and Acosta can't be too pleased with that. He's got a load of damage from this. On board with Cody Lamas, who was very determined to make something happen in this race. Instead, he's taken out a lot of race cars. Looking further ahead, 3 wide here with Louvier, Harpel, and Charlie Smith. And they were racing very hard to Louvier, hanging it around the outside, close to the barrier. And Harpel, oh, he ran into Louvier, and he bounced off of Chris Louvier into Charlie Smith, and that sent them into the wall. And it looks like the 34 of James Richardson may have had he may have checked up a whole lot, but he lost a bunch of positions as well. How about John Art? This is his second race racing for CM Racing. He had a great qualifying effort. He's trying to go around Dejon Weeks. Weeks trying to crowd him a little bit. And here comes Art around the outside, a little on the grass. And that's going to cost him a little bit, but he's still right there. Rodriguez is there too, but Weeks is going to clear Art for position. And here comes Rodriguez on the right-hand side of the 3 car. But you can see on the inside, here comes Rodriguez making a move on Art. And Louvier's there too. Eric DeMax shows us Strigley had a great run in qualifying. Great to see him, the hometown hero, doing a very good job here in the 16 car in the opening lap. Coming to complete lap 1 of the race. All that happened in the first lap. Will Lewis has Jordan Davis in tow. Then he has Jeffrey Finguy. How did he get around Jeffrey Finguy there? I thought Finguy was passing Davis, but I guess he didn't. I guess Finguy was still in third. But further behind, Schwellenberg's there, and then it's Charles Sanford. That's your top 5 to complete lap 1. There's a crash down at the Wall of Champions. Fitzwater and Curtis are involved. There's Chris Dodd there too. Jesse Turner further back has damage with Dylan Young. Here it is. Fitzwater right here beside Caleb Hoffman as they enter this one of the last few corners and slides into the barrier. There's DJ Curtis getting involved. Acosta's there again. The 44 and the 9 also involved. Dom Cap's trying to go around. And there's Bobby Jones also getting a piece. Looking a little further behind, we've seen Dylan Young go around. There it is. Young, Turner, and Gardner all spun very similarly in the final corner. And Turner tried to figure out where to go. Same with Dylan Young. And it's going to cost them a lot of points today. Dylan Young could have took the championship lead. He was so confident that he could have because he's been so good on the road courses recently, but he's in trouble. Battle for 4th place. Here comes Charles Sanford trying to go around Dylan Schwellenberg, and it looks as though he will. Schwellenberg kind of gives him the position, and Charles Sanford, who's been pretty good on the road courses for this year, has moved his way up to 4th. And here comes Ryan Griffin trying to pass Chris Louvier. This is for 10th place. A very good run for Chris Louvier to be in the top 10, but he's going to fall out of the top 10 just like that. A very good qualifying effort, and right now a very good run what Blue Flare Motorsports needs. But Ryan Griffin into the top 10. This is something we haven't seen all year on the road courses from Griffin, and this is what he definitely needs to be doing. All of his teammates are basically out of the running of this. Ryan Acosta, we mentioned at the top of the show, though. Acosta is very much in the title fight as well, and with a wounded car, he's been in 2 accidents. He's in the top 20, and he is trying to fight back as well. Further behind, Jake Bassinger was very far down the order, but Bassinger, he's also trying to claw his way up the order as well. TJ Martin and Caleb Hoffman are right now the top 2 Turner Performance cars. This is something you really don't ever see, seeing the other 2 Turner Performance cars that aren't Turner and Bassinger being the top 2 cars of that organization. But Hoffman trying to find a way around Joseph Strigley. Charles Sanford all over the back bumper of Jeffrey Finguy. Possibly a similar move? Yes, he is. This is a very good passing opportunity that we've seen all throughout the practice sessions and in the race so far. Sanford sails it around the 92. Finguy tried to fight it, but he could not get hold off that 24. The GameStop Chevy's looking pretty good. Davis trying to pull away and trying to run down Will Lewis. But Will Lewis has got a very fast car. He's pulling away. Will Lewis is in his own little zip code, and he is pulling the gap on Davis and the rest of the field. Jordan Davis has a whole host of race cars behind him that can challenge for this 2nd place right now. Charles Sanford trying to find a way around this one car. There's Jeffrey Finguy, Dylan Schwellenberg, Davidson, Weeks, Rodriguez, and how about Art? He's got his hands full. Weeks is trying to go around the 13 of Zayden Davidson. A little further ahead, this battle for 2nd's getting very interesting. The 24, Charles Sanford, he's a little loose, trying to get around that 1 car. Davis is doing a very good job of defending that position. But Charles Sanford, this has been one of his best passing opportunities. Here he comes, sailing it up the inside. Charles Sanford loves to pass race cars in that part of the track. And Charles Sanford looking to get up to second place. From 5th place all the way up to second. A great start of the race for Charles Sanford. Eric DeMax and Chris Louvier racing for 11th. Louvier having a great run today, and Eric DeMax needs this kind of a run to get some sort of confidence in the Sony Cup Series. Had a great qualifying effort. He had a great qualifying effort at the Willow Springs race, but he did not have a good finish, and DeMax is looking for a good finish today. He needs one. Eric DeMax replacing Dom Capps. The team gave him the nod over Dom Capps, said that they thought that Eric DeMax was full of potential, and he's doing a great job right now. But here comes Louvier trying to get back at DeMax, and Ryan Griffin just up ahead trying to make a pass on Art. And Louvier, what a pass here! Louvier taking DeMax to school, and man, that Blue Flare car has been pretty slow all season, but Louvier's giving it a great run here and passes Eric DeMax. Dejon Weeks trying to do a similar move to what Charles Sanford did earlier to try and make his way up to second place. And Dejon Weeks up another position and another few 2 points in his favor in the championship. Ryan Griffin a little ways behind him. That is a few extra points to gain on Ryan Griffin in the championship lead right now for Dejon Weeks. But after laps of trying, Ryan Griffin trying to sail it around the outside of John Art. And it looks like he's going to be able to. And Griffin's going to move up to 9th place. Griffin going after another spot. Now he's got Matthew Arriguez in his sight to the right side of Matthew Arriguez. And this is where a tricky part is. You have the preferred line on the inside, but the outside lane is able to get a good launch. And look at Rodriguez trying to fight Griffin for this position. This is for 8th place. Rodriguez trying to get the power down, but that Dodge has such good horsepower down the straightaway, isn't able to get back alongside Rodriguez, and it looks like he will. Here comes Griffin trying to get this position back. And this is going to be a tricky spot. We've seen Vince Winter hit the barrier. How about Griffin? Oh man, what a close spot. He almost got the wall there. And Griffin gets 8th place, and John Art trying to follow him through. And John Art around Matthew Rodriguez puts Rodriguez back to 10th place, and John Art hanging it around the outside, now the inside. Great racing from these guys from 8th to 10th. Jordan Davis is really holding these guys up. Charles Sanford's pulling the gap, and further ahead, Will Lewis has a huge lead. Down in the south, we would call this the tractor holding up the one lane, and you couldn't go anywhere because the tractor is blocking the whole lane. And look at Fenguy hitting the wall. Fenguy pushed wide, trying to find a way around. Look at Schwellenberg trying to get there, and Fenguy trying to cover off Schwellenberg, was not able to. And Schwellenberg's to the right-hand side, to the left-hand side, my bad. But Fenguy's got a lot of damage now, and the Yamp cars are going to move right on past Fenguy. And Fenguy's probably not going to be too pleased with that. A Yamp car really holding him up. That's allowed 2 other Yamp cars to go on by. And Weeks trying to get down the inside in front of Fenguy, but not able to. Fenguy racing hard on Weeks' door. Trying to keep that position. Zayden Davidson's there too. Fenguy fighting with Weeks to hang on to this position. But who's going to have the preferred line? Fenguy's got a lot of right side damage from hitting that wall. And further behind, Griffin with another dive bomb, but that one isn't going to work out as well. Davidson's able to hold him off, but Fenguy's able to get in front of Dejon Weeks. Dylan Schwellenberg is up another position. Lap 8 in the race. Will Lewis has a pretty comfortable lead over Charles Sanford. It's looking all good for Will Lewis right now. Charles Sanford's trying to reel him in, but they're running pretty similar lap times, and it doesn't look as good for Charles Sanford. But Jordan Davis has some comfort now as he's got a little bit of a gap to Schwellenberg. Fenguy still trying to get around the 28 again. When you're racing for a championship, you can never give up. Brian Acosta around the outside and into the dirt. Brian Acosta trying to pass Cody Lamas. He'll move up into the top 15. Halfway in the race, Will Lewis is looking really good right now. Charles Sanford is equaling his lap times right now, though. You cannot count out the 24, but Charles Sanford has been equaling the lap times of Lewis. And just like I was saying earlier, the one car of Jordan Davis in the United States down south whenever you're going down a 2-lane highway, whenever you're only when you're only going down one lane, the tractor holds you up. You can't go anywhere. That one tractor is blocking the whole lane. You're not able to go anywhere. And Jordan Davis is that tractor, and he's holding up everyone. And it seems like everyone else has a very good race car, but they're not able to get around that one car, not even able to get alongside. Davis is doing a good job of defending that line, but Schwellenberg, his teammate of weeks, is there too. Finn Guy, Davidson, Griffin's fell a little ways behind, but looks like there's been some contact with Rodriguez, and John Art has fell down to 10th again. Jack Halleck has blown a motor. Halleck came across the line and was running in the 18th position, but Halleck is going to fall out of the race. This is a tough break for the Australian. As soon as I mentioned something about Will Lewis having such a good race car and running fast lap times, he runs a pretty slow lap. 1 minute 45.86. Sanford ran a 1:45.2. So that is 6/10 faster than Will Lewis's lap. So Sanford is keeping Will Lewis honest here. And again, a 1:45.7 and a 1:45.2 again. So Sanford is cutting into the gap little by little as it comes. So Sanford is going to try and push hard. But Davis, again, this long line of race cars still trying to find a way around Jordan Davis. Sanford last time ran a blistering lap last lap. A 1:45.1, and that's nearly his best lap of the race. And Lewis, he just ran a whole second slower than his best lap of the race last lap. So Will Lewis, with there being about 8 laps to go, Will Lewis's commanding lead has been shrinking. He had a 5-second lead on Charles Sanford, and now it's down to about a 2.5 seconds. Ryan Griffin trying to get around Jeffrey Fenguy. Fenguy's been struggling with the handling of his race car since he's been in the wall, but Fenguy not wanting to give up. He throws it in the corner, trying to stay alongside of Griffin. And these two engines here, the 45 or 43 and the 92, they have basically the same engines. So who's going to win out of this battle? The 92 had a good run down the straightaway, but can Griffin stay alongside? He's been so very good about challenging down the straightaway. And Griffin, he is alongside, but who's going to prevail here? Griffin, round the outside. What a move from Ryan Griffin. He gets around Jeffrey Fenguy for 6th place. Sanford just ran his best lap of the entire race. This is perfect example of just how good of a driver Charles Sanford is. Sanford is never usually the most aggressive driver. He's usually a very conservative driver. You can see 15 laps into a run, he just ran his best lap of the day, and he's been conserving his tires. And Will Lewis coming close to about a 1.5 seconds now, slower than his last lap, or slower than his best lap. And Lewis quite possibly has burnt his tires off trying to get some distance to him in 2nd place. So Lewis is under fire. This is actually a fight for the win. It looked as though Lewis was pulling away and it was going to be all Will Lewis today, that he had it under control. It's apparently not that right now. Charles Sanford is right there in the sights of the 76 Dodge. Sanford now is hounding the 76. He is just inching closer and closer. This could be the lap, because we've seen Sanford get a great run down this straightaway here and be able to make a pass. Watch out for Lil Lewis. Watch out. Here he comes. Can he make a lunge? Not quite close enough. That has been his honey hole when it comes to making passes. He's made all of his passes right there in that sector. And Charles Sanford trying to get a win back for Mace Enterprises that they almost won at Road Atlanta. Nick Mace came across the line first, however, disqualified from Road Atlanta. Who would have thought Charles Sanford could be the one to get Mace Enterprises its first win? But Horizon Group, in every season they've been a part of, they've been able to get at least one win every season. Is this the day they get another win for the 2019 season to extend that record? Lewis has Sanford all over, and this is going to be a tough battle to the very end. He needs to be able to do exactly what Jordan Davis is doing, Davis is able to hold everyone up. Here comes Fenguy trying to challenge Schwellenberg. Fenguy's gotten around the 43 car again. So there is no give up in the 92 car. But right up front, Sanford is battling for the lead. Lap 17 of 23. Will Lewis is going to have to park that car everywhere Sanford wants to go. Lewis has picked, no, he's actually not picked up at the speed I thought he had. He is still very slow. Sanford is on the back bumper. It's only a matter of time, I believe. Sanford is so much faster. The GameStop Chevy. Charles Sanford. It's been a long while since he has last won a race in the Sony Cup Series. He's on a long winless drought. It's been since in Canada of 2017. And we're here in Canada again, here in 2019. And Sanford not close enough there to be able to make a move to Lewis. And I believe if it was the last lap, he would have tried it. But he's waiting for a better opportunity. Sanford is very calculated of a driver. There's a few drivers just like that. I think of Curtis. I think of Turner. I think of some drivers that really know how to use their head. Charles Sanford looking for his 17th career win in the Sony Cup Series. Could this be a pass here? Looking on Lewis. Lewis does a very defensive line, but could he dive up the inside? Sanford not able to make anything of it there. Will Lewis is trying to make Charles Sanford wear his tires out. If you can make a driver have to use a different line than what they're used to running, it'll make them wear their tires out. Sanford looking for some grip, looking for some way. This could be a good thing for Sanford. He went way wide to try and get a good run down the straightaway here. Is he close enough? Not close enough there. Sanford getting really swirly now, following Will Lewis. Lewis doing everything he possibly can to keep the 24 car back. But Sanford looking for a run to the left side. Look out, here he comes. Down the inside, Sanford side by side. This could be it for Will Lewis and Charles Sanford to the point here in Canada, in Montreal. And Charles Sanford takes the race lead. Further back, Ryan Acosta has made his way around Eric DeMax. Acosta still pushing his way forward. He's up to 12th. Now looking for 11th on Louvier. As we look further up, though, Griffin racing with Fenguy, trying to hold off Davison as well. Schwellenberg under fire to hold on to that top 5 spot. And Dejon Weeks is all over the back bumper of his teammate. But, man, nobody can get around that one. Oh, Fenguy! I think Fenguy may have made contact with Griffin. If not, it was a very sideways 43 car through that corner. But Davis is just making such a good line to be able to hold off Dejon Weeks. Here it is again. Griffin trying to go around Fenguy, and he swings it up into the wall. He was really pushing hard, and he pushed hard into the wall. Eric DeMax is in the tire barrier, and he is out of the race. We're going to take a look here. Ryan Acosta going for 11th on Louvier. Eric DeMax is right there trailing behind them. Louvier trying to cover up the position, and Eric DeMax gives him a bump. This was racing for 12th. Eric DeMax trying to go around the outside of Chris Louvier. And Louvier and DeMax make contact and in the wall and slides into the tire barrier. And out of the race goes Louvier and DeMax. They were running in the 12th and 13th position. Gonna try and get a better view of it. Looks like Louvier almost kind of crowds him over. And DeMax gets put into the tire barrier, so does Louvier, both of them out. Riding on board with Eric DeMax, he was having such a good run, and Louvier looked like he was going to cut off Eric DeMax, but then he tried to get back over when he noticed he was there. But as they make the dash over here for this right-hander, DeMax tries to shoot up to the outside, and Louvier tries to cover off the position, and both of them are out of the race. Got another view of it here because look at this. Louvier's trying to get a good arc into the corner, and I don't think he expected Eric DeMax to charge up on the outside. And DeMax was already at his corner panel at least. And both drivers having a career best season so far. This would be their best run all year. Louvier and DeMax both. And both of them are out of the race. Dejon Weeks is all over the back bumper of Jordan Davis. Here comes Weeks, trying to get around Jordan Davis. Davis has held this third position for many laps of this race, and Weeks trying to hang it around the outside, and he's gonna get him. Dejon Weeks up to third place. Jordan Davis has been fighting with his all, trying to get it back there, but not able to get it back. Davis is still on the back bumper, but Dejon Weeks, I'm sure once he gets on the straightaway, is going to be able to hold that position and get away from Jordan Davis. Not so fast. Here comes Davis on the inside of Dejon Weeks. This is for third place, and Davis says, you know what, I'm still able to be faster than you. That's why I've been ahead of you all race. And he passes the Skittle car and puts his teammate back another position. Davis has been fighting with his all to hang on to this third position. He's had a whole herd of race cars behind him this entire day. And Dejon Weeks kind of messes up. Here comes his teammate, Dylan Schwellenberg, and Finn Guy, and Griffin. And Weeks is under fire, so is Schwellenberg. Here comes Finn Guy, though. Weeks trying to cover Finn Guy off, but here goes Schwellenberg because of it. And Davidson's there, too, behind him. And Weeks holds off Schwellenberg. Finn Guy and Griffin looking for a way to get around these Yamp cars. Davidson having a good run today. Rodriguez is trailing them. We have 3 laps to go. Will Lewis has been trying to keep up with Charles Sanford, but he has just not got the pace of the 24 car, it seems. Sanford will come up on lap cars of PJ Williams and Jordan Fisher. This could play in the hands of Will Lewis to get back in this. Dejon Weeks trying to get that position back, doing the same thing that Jordan Davis did on him. Dejon Weeks up to third again. Ryan Acosta has ran down John Art. This is a race for 10th, trying to get into the top 10 to get as much points as possible. And Acosta with a beat-up hood is on the back bumper of John Art. Art trying to get back-to-back top 10s. He's got a beat-up race car. Same with Acosta. But Acosta looks so much faster, trying to get around this 3 Chevy. Finn Guy has been able to get around Dylan Schwellenberg. This for 5th place. And around the outside, Matthew Rodriguez is going to get Zayden Davidson. That is for the 8th position. Davidson gets knocked down to 9th. Charles Sanford. Lap cars won't be an issue. The white flag is out. Final lap here at Montreal. The last time around. Charles Sanford. Who would have thought coming into the 2019 season that the first driver to win for Mace Enterprises was going to be Charles Sanford? I wouldn't have thought it. I thought Sanford would have been the fourth driver to win for the team. But Sanford, his consistency and his experience is paying off for the organization. Mace Enterprises felt like they should have won with Nick Mace at Road Atlanta. But the race team has had 0 wins on the board because Mace Enterprises was disqualified from the event. The 48 team was. So, no wins on the board. But for round 10, Sanford's going to put them on the board if he can just complete this last little bit of racing. And Davis is under fire from Finn Guy for 4th. Davis, who has ran 3rd all race, has dropped down to 5th place. And now he's got Schwellenberg to deal with. And further back, Acosta's going to try and take 10th place from John Art. And Art's going to fall down outside the top 10. But Charles Sanford's rounding for home. Charles Sanford's going to break an 83 race winless streak. His last win came in Canada in 2017, out in the rain at Canadian Tire. Well, his next win, he'd have to wait another 2 years, but it's going to come in Canada yet again, but this time at Montreal. 17th career win. Charles Sanford sees the checkered flag at Montreal. 2nd place goes to Will Lewis. A great fight for him. But further back, Dejon Weeks is clearly going to get 3rd here. No challenge. Jeffrey Fengai's going to get 4th place. And, man, Davis, man, he was like a roadblock all race. He comes home 5th place, holding off teammate Dylan Schwellenberg. Griffin, the point leader, will leave as the point leader again. Griffin gets 7th. Rodriguez gets 8th place. 9th for Zayden Davidson. And 10th is Ryan Acosta. Man, what a fight that was. Charles Sanford, welcome back to victory lane. Charles Sanford's the first driver to win for Mace Enterprises, and it's the first win from Chevy all year. So, now, all manufacturers, 10 races in, have a victory under their belt. Charles Sanford, 1 win away from DJ Curtis on the wins list, but he is 3 wins away from being in the 20-plus win column. Man, Sanford is a fantastic driver with great experience, and he proved it today that he knows what he's doing out there, and he's a very great driver to have. Charles Sanford brings Mace Enterprises back to victory lane. Let's get you to our finishing results and standings after round 10.